Look, Roman Wilson, the last 2 days, again, it's just 2 days of training camp, so I understand. But the first 2 days, he has taken way more reps with the first team as the second wide receiver, Alvin Austin or Robert Woods. Way more. And I think there's an absolute reason for that, people. I think it's because they are invested in Roman Wilson. He was a third round pick a year ago. They didn't get to see anything from him last year. And I said last year, I go, guys, I think the Steelers want him the wide receiver number 2, just because of his skill set, what he brings to the table. I think they want him to be that guy. Well, then he gets hurt the first day of pads, then he gets hurt again. Then it seemed like Mike Tomlin was pissed that he was hurt, and they just moved on without him. I think the quote was, "The train is on the tracks and we're rolling on," which is tough, as especially as a player, but especially as a rookie when your head coach is just saying, "We're moving on without because you got hurt. Too bad, so sad." Yeah, that's tough, but such is life in the National Football League. One of the things is, does that show the kind of confidence? I don't know if it's necessarily confidence that the Steelers have in them. I think it's, this is what we expected from you, and we're going to give you every opportunity to win this job. Now, we talked earlier on the live, and people were talking, and my thing is, they're not going to bring in a wide receiver right now. I'm not saying that they're not going to bring one in, but they're not going to do it right now. They're going to give Roman Wilson every opportunity to win this job. That is just going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. So for the next 2, maybe even 3 weeks, there's no reason to even talk unless somebody gets hurt. But if that's not the case, I don't think there's even a reason for us to even be talking about them bringing in a wide receiver, because they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're going to give this kid an opportunity to win the job. And whether he does or not, it's a different conversation. But he's going to get the opportunity. Okay, great. Well, let's give him that opportunity. Let's see if he can go and win it. And if he can, great. Because here's the thing about Roman Wilson is that, first of all, he's faster than what people think. He's a 4.39 guy coming out of Michigan. Has good hands. Runs good routes. But the thing at Michigan was, you had to block. At Michigan, there was no way I'm just going to be a prima donna wide receiver, on run plays. I'm just going to give a half-ass effort, yada. No. At Michigan, Jim Harbaugh made it very clear. Either you block or you don't get the ball. It's just that simple. Well, Roman Wilson took that to heart, and he is a very good blocker. So you think a lot of 13 personnel groups, 3 tight ends, 1 receiver out there. You know how a lot of times that was Van Jefferson last year. Maybe this year it'll be Roman Wilson. It's tough to run 13 personnel with Calvin Austin out there. You're going to have to do that sometime and run the ball, but Calvin Austin, he's just too little to be that blocker. Well, Roman Wilson's not. And he has a knack for being good at it, and he wants to do it. So he likes getting down there and getting his nose dirty. He has no problems getting down in the run game and digging a safety out of there. Well, that's what we need this offense to be. Any offense really that wants to run the ball, you got to have wide receivers willing to go get a safety. Well, Roman Wilson will do that. He will go down in there and dig a safety out. And I'm just telling you, if he can do it, that's what the Steelers want. They don't want to have to bring in another wide receiver. They don't want to. They want to be able to, hey, we drafted this guy. We want him to play. We want him to be here for a while. Versus bringing somebody in from the outside. That person's only going to be here for a year. They don't want to do that. They want to develop guys. Well, the Steelers are usually pretty good at developing wide receivers. Well, now we got to see, this guy's got to stay healthy. Some of this is on him. And I know getting hurt. Nobody wants to get hurt. And he didn't roll his own ankle when he got tackled. But you still got to stay healthy. But I think the Steelers, I think they like him. Even with Aaron Rodgers, they want to run the football with Rodgers at quarterback, and Roman Wilson with his knack and willingness to go down there and knock a safety's head off. in the run game, they're going to give him an opportunity. So look, Calvin Austin is a slot. I've said all along. I know they came out and said that Calvin Austin's a wide receiver number 2. He's not. And that's not his fault. It's just not. I mean, he doesn't have the body makeup to be that. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a place on the Steelers. Doesn't mean that he's not a key piece and can't be a good wide receiver. But he's a slot guy. Nothing wrong with being a slot receiver. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But that would be his job. The Steelers would be at their best if Roman Wilson can play DK and Calvin Austin in the slot. Now, if that doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I don't know. I think the Steelers think they've got it. And they basically got a redshirt year out of him last year. So he learned how to be a professional, understand how to eat, how to train, all that kind of stuff. Okay, we didn't see him get on the field. Well, now we're going to see him get on the field. Hopefully. So, but I believe that's the plan. I don't think the Steelers want to bring in an outside guy. And we shouldn't even expect that. Like, barring injury, we shouldn't expect that for at least 2, maybe 3 weeks, because it's going to take him a while to figure out if he can play, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. So let's go to the poll. Let's go to poll number 4. What is your main concern regarding Roman Wilson's role in the team this year? His ability to stay healthy throughout the season, competition from other receivers on the roster. That was B. First one was A. C, how well he adapts to the playbook and offensive schemes. We heard some stuff about that last year. Don't know if it was true, but we heard those rumors. And D, his impact on the team's overall performance. A, B, C, D. Make sure you put a 4 in front of your answer so we know exactly what poll question you guys are looking to answer. So, look, the Steelers got an opportunity here. They have a real opportunity to win some football games. They've got an opportunity to be in the mix. But I'm going to preach this and stress this all season long. The offensive line, the offensive line, the offensive line. Look, I know a lot of people saw either on Twitter or online, everybody saw that play of Rodgers where Alex Highsmith absolutely cooked him. We all saw it. It was the first day of practice. Now, don't get me wrong. You would hope that your starting left tackle at least touch a defensive end on a pass rush, but that's part of Broderick's problem is he's not focused all the time. He's got to stop that. That can't happen. That can't happen. So the line is the key, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be stressing it all year long. I know it's old school football way of thinking. I understand that. But the way that the Pittsburgh Steelers are built, if the offensive line comes to play, they're going to win a lot of football games. A lot of football games. The way they are built, if that line does its job, at the beginning we talked about Super Bowl contenders, the Steelers will be that. Doesn't mean they'll make it. Doesn't mean they'll even win the division. But they have an opportunity if that line comes to play. Hopefully that will come to fruition and we'll see the Pittsburgh Steelers playing for a long time this year and winning a lot of football games. So that's all I got for you guys, man. I appreciate you all hanging in there with this. I know we usually do this. It's recorded, and this one was live, so I appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you very much for all the support that you give us, man. Remember, like, follow, subscribe. Yeah, do me a big favor. Once this video is over, hit that like button, leave a comment, all that good stuff. We appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. And aloha.